Okay, I'm going to voice here just because there's the signs for grandmother and grandfather have changed. It used to be grandmother, grandfather. Now you'll see many times people will do grandmother, grandfather with a double bump, 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 bump. It's a noun, right? So grandmother, grandmother. Where mother, father, it's coming in contact. So it used to be that it was grandmother, and now we see grandmother. It used to be grandmother, great grandmother. Now we're kind of losing it. We don't talk about great grandparents all that much, so it makes sense for grandmother. Also, the rhythm grandmother, grandmother. So now what you'll usually see is great grandmother, great grandmother, great grandfather. Okay, so it's good to be aware that you may see both. Generally speaking, grandmother, grandfather. So just be aware that that's going to happen. Relative is signed like friend, except with R's. Or you could do like the nuclear family, the uh, intimate family. What is the word that they use? Immediate family. You can also talk about the family outside. And add. So it really depends on what you consider your immediate family, who is in that tight inner circle, and then who's on the outside. Oh, the spacing is weird on that. Okay, I have to fix that. So we just add law. Niece and nephew, just like we did aunt and uncle in the previous slide. Now, son and daughter. I'm going to point out two different ways we can sign that. There's son, which goes into the arm like you're holding a baby, and daughter. So they start from boy, baby, girl, baby. But around 12 or 13, people don't want to be referred to as the baby. So a lot of people will now sign daughter, son, for anything older than a kid, anything that doesn't want to be called a baby. It comes from the one-handed version of it. So if we didn't have this here, boom, daughter. And then in each of these cases, you should be able to sort of describe them. We can use a family tree kind of situation sort of on the wall in front of us if we want to say, okay, have 3 kids. And then we use that list to show the oldest to the youngest. If there's one, there's just one. 2, we not do this. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then anything more, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 15th. So you can describe your family. So it would be good to describe your immediate family, your extended family, who's in your life. Because chances are, if you have conversation, you're going to need to talk about them. So now would be a good time to sort of pause and practice that. Ages, even if it's not exact, just approximate ages. Age. We'll talk about age in a second. Relationships, aunt, uncle, cousins. Married. You don't want to sign wedding. Married. It's monkey hands, right? Married or divorced, separated, single. I've seen married again, but that seems like it's like married to the same person again. I've seen second time, but again, probably is a good one. Take a look at the what's the sign for variations. Stepfather, stepmother, step. Some people will spell it step second. Oh, I can't see what that is. Hold on a second. Let me move this. Okay. Too many little screens. Half sister, half brother, half. Or sister, second sister, step sister, step brother. So half step. Makes sense? Second versus half. 1/2. And again, check out both the vocab, the Anki deck for this, and also the what's the sign for other variations. Oops. You're not going to let me go. Let's talk about great grandparents. Great, and then grandmother, grandfather. So fingerspell great. That's the most contemporary way of doing it. God. So God is like father, but it comes from above. God parents, godmother, godfather, godfather. You got godfather. Relatives, family. I tend not to sign relatives. I sign family. I don't like that one, and it's sort of falling out of favor with people. Bebés to seniors. So pregnant, to be pregnant and to get pregnant, two different signs. So there's to get pregnant or pregnant. Give birth. They smeared it with lard. It looks like birth. Some people don't like this. It's a little too graphic, so they prefer this. Birth. Fingerspell foster. Adopted or adopted. So to take up. I see most often people do it like this because you bring it into yourself. This is a bit not personal. Where this is adopted, accepted, have accepted them, adopted them. Okay. Pounds, ounces. Pound. So here's the scale, and OZ, ounces. 10 pounds, 1 ounce. I don't know if that's big or not. Babies, children, and kids. So if you take this, the rock on hand shape, and do this under your nose. Now, some older deaf folks don't like this sign because where it comes from is this, right? So kid, wiping their nose on everything, right? Never had a little kid do this where they lean up against you and then rub their nose. You're like, what do you do? Anyway, so kid. Teenager. So it's like parent, teenager. I don't know if I've ever seen someone do it down. I've almost always seen it go up. Teenager. Young adult. And you can do that sort of children, teenagers, like they're up here, young adults, adults. Especially if you're talking about the progression of when someone was young and then they got a little older, then they got a little older, then they got a little older. That would be a clear use of that. Adults, grown-ups. Let me pause this for just one moment. Okay, so for senior citizens, SC, kind of like for single Twin, we're going to see twin in a second. So senior citizen. You'll also see old. It's a little bit less polite, but you can also see people go like in their 80s, in their 90s. But senior citizens probably the safest way to learn it. Multiple births. So now we're going to go back to that description where the vocab is actually a description of what we're talking about. So you'll see twins, so two twins. Some people sign it with T's. Most of the time I see with the two. Triplets, same thing, triplets. I haven't seen anybody do it like triplets, but twins who look the same, twins who look different. Okay, so that's how you would say identical and fraternal. So we've talked about none being the response to, do you have something? I ain't got none, right? None. Or have none. So there's a difference. We won't use no for everything. No is, do you have something? No. Do you have something? I have none. So for example, how many brothers do you have? None. You wouldn't say, how many brothers do you have? No. That's not right. None. You're giving a count. There are 0. You could have 1 brother, 0 sisters. If someone asks, are you married? Are you hungry? Are you this? You wouldn't say none. You'd say no. So if they're asking you for a count, none is an appropriate answer. No is not. If they're asking you for condition, how are you, this, that, and the other thing, that would be appropriate to say no. Okay. It makes sense in English. It should make sense in ASL. No and none are not interchangeable. So siblings, brother, sister. Same as mom, dad. If you sign them together, it's parents. Aunt, uncle, same kind of thing, a pairing. Cousins. So think about how you would translate these sentences. How many brothers do you have in your family? So the object is family. Brother, sister have how many? Because family is the topic. Getting more specific, brother, sister, how many? Your family, children, how many? That makes sense. Big concept. Work your way down to smaller concept. We'll talk about family in class. Pets. Cat. Make sure you keep your fingers out. Cat. Some people will do cat like this. Really, that's more like mustache. Cat. Now, the sign's changed. The sign has gotten more acceptable like this, but I'm going to encourage you to do this because it's more clear. Baby cat. You can fingerspell too. Again, take a look at what's the sign for any variations. So rabbit can be this. This I tend to think of as bunny. So there are the little ears, or rabbit. So I tend not to see this for, oh, bunny. This tends to be cute little bunny. This tends to be the big one. What's up, doc? Hamster. If you've ever looked close, they've got the pairs of teeth. But this is also squirrel. You can add descriptions on, but this is any sort of 4-legged furry creature. Generic sign for animal. Bird. And there are specifics for many of these animals. We can look them up. These are just the generic. Fish or fish. I see most often this, but some people will sign it with with two hands. Fish. I've seen lizard, like the tongue flicking out. It's also an L, or lizard, so L and it climbs up your arm. I've seen both of those. Snake, their fangs. And usually there's an S. Spider. Spider. Boom, 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 boom. Ugh, I hate spiders. Turtle. So here's the shell, and here's the head. Turtle, turtle. Ferret. Okay, another sign for ferret, ferret. I guess because it leaps. I've never seen that for ferret. I've only ever seen people fingerspell ferret. Pig. Look a pig. Duck. Some people will sign duck with a big. It's that. It's like the sign for no, but in front of the mouth. So bird, duck. Chicken. So the sign for chicken is also the generic sign for all birds. The older sign for chicken was this. So a bird that eats off the ground, pecks off the ground. Now most of the time, everything tastes like chicken, right? Chicken. Cow or cow. Horse, horse, horse. You'll also see deer, moose, donkey, and the sign for stubborn is this. Comes from donkey. Monkey, gorilla, sheep, because you shear the sheep. So here's their not fuzz, whatever, fleece. So shear. Goat is this. It's the reason why is because they have that little beard, the little goatee, goat e, and then horns. So it's boom, boom, beard and horns. Okay, goat. One thing I want to point out is feeding your pets. Most often, people first. So this is the sign for pet. Feeding your pets. What you actually just signed was eating your pets. So remember, the food is going from you to the pet. So feed pet, I feed. So I take that and I just put it down to them. You can sign eat, feed. So pet food, I give them. But it's even easier to go pet, feed. What I'm going to do with most of these is sign pet first and then the verb. So object, subject, verb. So play together. Pet, play together. Pet, exercise. And sometimes people say, let's go, like, let's go out to do it, or let's go outside, play. So you can add in stuff like that. The general concept is like pet over there, we'll play together. Pet, I pull to me, I go to sleep. He's not happy. I sign to my pet. I guess trick. Now, I have never seen a sign for teach your pet tricks. Teach them to do things, do. But I'm going to keep looking because there is nothing in the vocab that shows. So in what's the sign? Maybe you can find one hidden somewhere. Hug and kiss, hug, or because I don't think you want to go mouth to mouth with your pet. Just saying. So kiss their head, and pet. So maybe pet animals. So this is the sign for a pet or to pet. Either way, pet your pets. Or maybe this is more clear. It seems a very awkward construction of English. So talking about animals, many animal shelters have a policy. Oh, so this is coming from the snapshot. So we can talk about those. I love our friends. We'll get to the discussion question in a minute. Best friend, really good friends, close friends. We're like this. I'm this one. Whatever. Close friends, friend. Colleague, work equals, work peers. Acquaintances, we've met. X friend, so X. Fingerspell EX. More conversation starters, discussions. I love this first question. Do you have a deaf friend? Why or why not? I'm not sure how many deaf people you've actually met. I guess the question really should be, have you ever had a deaf person in your life, and did you become friends with them? What happened? It might not have happened. So I just find it very odd. Like, it's not like for most of my life until I got involved in sign language, I didn't have any deaf friends. I didn't have any deaf acquaintances. They just weren't in my life until I started getting into sign language, and then I started interacting and having the ability to communicate. So it's a very odd question. It's a better question to ask. So, what are some reasons why some people aren't your friends anymore? Um, do you have a deaf friend? Why or why not? Very odd. All right. So there's a lot of vocab. The Anki deck is not complete. Um, there are so many more vocab that are in this chapter, and we will try to add them all, but we wanted to get a set, and I think it was 92 that we added to start with. So just to say, there's a lot. Most of them make sense based on each other, so they should be easy to remember. Some of them are a bit arbitrary, but start going through the Anki deck, and that will really help. That's 3.2.